Some glide through the air. Others prefer to show some risky initiative. And he's handing out hefty fines to people who cause traffic jams.
People lie, so I just want to make sure that things are going to...
Which method could also work for us? First stop, Canada, in the city of Montreal at 7 in the morning. Traffic jam. Sure, it's rush hour. But since last year, there has been a secret weapon. The traffic jam inspector Paolo Chaguillo, 30 years old and part of a special unit with a mission, preventing traffic jams.
Come on guys, we don't have time, we have to go.
Paolo is not a policeman, but he is allowed to impose fines, especially against the two main causes of traffic jams: roadworks blocking the road and double parkers who stop for a short time and thus stop all the traffic.
If there's a major street that's blocked, unfortunately it's going to cause a big chaos, and it could be very quickly. So we're here to try to correct those problems as fast as we can.
Paolo has 5 more colleagues. Each has their own territory, and everyone has access to a map from the Traffic Control Office. It shows the inspector's operating areas. Where is there a traffic jam, or where will there be one soon? All made possible by live surveillance with 350 cameras. Paolo uses this device to hand out parking tickets. If the drivers start causing trouble, he calls the police for help. Each new operation comes in by radio.
Paolo en direction. All right, guys, we have a call. When the light turns green.
His first assignment today, a construction site. They often cause traffic jams in Montreal because their barriers extend too far into the road. On his map, Paolo can see whether they even have a permit for this.
They don't seem to have a permit, so I'm going to pretty much tell them that they have to leave.
3 construction vehicles are blocking one lane. That actually requires a permit. But it costs money, and many companies want to save themselves the trouble. But if Paolo catches them, it could be even more expensive. A fine of up to $5,000. This should be a deterrent, because only one single double-parked vehicle can cause traffic jams of up to 15 minutes.
This right now doesn't seem very busy, but don't know what kind of setup he would have installed after a while. Maybe he would have more trucks. And then after a while, I mean, we're still fairly early in the morning. It could have built up something.
What do the residents think about the anti-congestion unit? They pay for it with their taxes. Costs $1 million per year.
I think it's a good idea that someone takes time to look at it and try to find solutions.
It should help, but I mean, it's adding more traffic to the streets as well. So actually, I think the mobile squad should be done on bicycle and on foot.
But even so, the traffic jam unit really helps. During the 10-week pilot phase last year, Paolo and his colleagues were able to break up 1,400 traffic jams. The idea is to prevent traffic jams before they occur and be persistent, so that offenders, like this truck, really do drive away.
I don't always take the good word of people, so I do wait to make sure things are corrected. People lie. So I just want to make sure that things are going to go and move.
In Montreal, it's construction sites and double parkers. In Germany, frequent lane changes, driving too close, and sudden braking often leads to so-called phantom traffic jams. According to Germany's automobile club ADAC, we have around 745,000 traffic jams, totaling more than 1.5 million kilometers per year. This corresponds to 4 times the distance to the moon. On average, every city dweller who drives to work takes 30% longer than they should. In Montreal, the anti-jam unit actually clears 95% of all possible traffic jam causes. But as soon as one parking offender has left, the next one arrives. And not every traffic offender likes what Paolo has to say and is prepared to leave voluntarily.
If he doesn't want to listen, I'm happy to give him a ticket. It's not my objective, but if you want to go to that point, unfortunately, I'm going to have to.
This time, it doesn't come to that. The parking offender drives away. After 6 hours, Paulo has warned 20 double parkers. And tomorrow, everything starts all over again. We find another strategy against traffic jams in Bolivia, in the city of La Paz. Here, they're taking to the air, in a cable car, high above this commuter city's congestion. 2/3 of the inhabitants commute between the districts of El Alto and La Paz every day. The greengrocer Vicky Iriondo is one of them.
It used to take me 45 minutes to get to work. With a cable car, I can be there in 10 minutes. Now I have much more time for my family.
Construction of the cable car began in 2014. Meanwhile, there are 10 lines covering 33 kilometers. Every day, up to 300,000 passengers use the cable car, with a total of 26 stops where they can get on and off. A trip costs Vicky the equivalent of about 30 cents, and the cabins fly over the crowded streets at a speed of 18 kilometers per hour. Commuter Vicky remembers her first ride in the cable car very well, for it took her quite a bit of courage.
The first time I sat in such a cable car, I was afraid. As soon as it goes up, it is an indescribable feeling and experience.
And it's not just Vicky who sees it that way. The other passengers, escaping the congestion thanks to the gondolas, are also very enthusiastic. The first time I was scared. Now I think it's great.
The cable car is much faster and much safer. I ride it every day. It's fast and it gives you a great view.
After only 11 minutes, Vicky arrives in El Alto. She'll now be working here at her vegetable stall for 8 hours, and in the evening she'll go back again. In the cable car, of course. We meet the man behind the whole thing, and he's a German. Thorsten Beuerlein has been in charge of this major project since 2014. Wouldn't the idea also be something for German cities? What does he see as the advantages of a cable car in the city? There's no pollutant emission within the urban area, and this is a big issue, especially in German cities. And another huge advantage for city planners is the short construction time. Here, the first line was finished in 14 months. On average, the construction time for subway lines is at least 3.5 years. The complete cable car network was built in 5 years. And in fact, there are already plans for cable cars to combat traffic jams in Germany. Koblenz and Frankfurt want such a system. And in Munich, 3 underground stations are to be connected by cable car. Feasibility studies are currently still underway. In Hamburg, the project failed because of people's fears the cable car might crash. Justified? Statistically speaking, the cable car is one of the safest means of transport, even safer than the train. And if you compare it with the bus, which travels on the road and can have an accident at any road junction, a cable car uses its own track in the air, so that just can't happen. Bolivia shows that it works, and Costa Rica will soon follow. Here, Thorsten Beuerlein is building the next cable car system. Our last stop is on the Philippines, in Manila. 17 million people and 2.5 million cars on the streets. Traffic jams guaranteed. But on the rails, you're good to go. And the people here take advantage of this. Adeline works in a hospital near the city centre and has to commute every day. She uses neither car, bus nor the expensive train, but a kind of private taxi on rails.
I ride the trolley every day. It saves an enormous amount of time and is cheaper than anything else.
And here it comes, the traffic jam alternative, Manila style. Adeline's driver, Ryan, one of 50 so-called pushers. Just lift the trolley onto the tracks and then the taxi is ready to go. Ryan's been doing the job for 12 years. Every day he transports about 100 passengers. His route goes right across Manila, is 5 kilometers long, and he drives it up to 20 times a day, powered entirely by his muscles. The job's hard, especially when the sun's shining with all the running about. The whole thing has another catch, and it's a very fast one. The train. Dangerous because the taxi uses the same tracks. Ryan has to know the train schedules. A ride across the city can be done in 15 minutes if the tracks are free. On the street, it takes at least 3 times as long. Here in Manila, people are stuck in traffic jams for at least an hour on average every day. The only alternative to the trolley is the train, but the train is always full and much more expensive. Besides, there are only fixed stations. From there, commuters often have to walk a long way or switch to other means of transport. The rail taxi has no fixed stations. Anyone can get off along the route wherever they like. The fare is always the same. A trolley transport costs the equivalent of 10 cents.
I'm getting off here. I work right here.
Probably not an option for us in Germany. But maybe we will soon be floating over congested roads in cable cars. Or seeing 1 or 2 traffic jam inspectors in our cities.